So I must say, the RE engine does a lot of amazing shit I never would have thought it done. Like, first of all, it can render the tallest vampire vixen in the history of video games. Secondly, it can emulate an entire freaking catalog of Capcom's classic arcades stuff.
Oh, from the comfort of your wherever the hell you're playing this.
Probably home.
From the living room, from the bar, from I don't know,
Space!
from Texas for all I care.
Yep.
Actually, let me rephrase that. From freaking California, for all I care. Anyway, welcome to the Capcom Arcade Stadium for the Nintendo Switch. Technically a game that is free to download, but all the games on here you can pay for the hip price of, I don't know, $2 or $3 individually, or in $15 packs, or the entire thing for $40 if you're feeling daring enough.
Yeah.
I feel like the entire thing for $40 is much more worth it than $15 packs.
Oh yeah, no, it is, because you technically are buying all the packs at a discount.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. By the way, I will say, you mentioned the RE engine doing all this, and yeah, one of the best parts about the RE engine is the fact that it can do incredibly realistic, detailed environments and things. It's why...
That's what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, it's why I'm going to be real here. You know that burger at the beginning of Resident Evil 2?
Oh yeah, the trucker burger.
The one that people go like, man, they made look disgusting on purpose, and yet people go like, man, that actually looks real enough to eat, and I kind of want to try it.
But yeah, as we're seeing here, like I like the idea that now even the menu selection itself is all being done full on real time, and like as you see, you can change the color of any cabinet. It's a really neat little way of pulling off this whole classic arcade feel.
Yeah.
So why don't we go ahead and start off with one of Capcom's very first arcade titles ever, Vulgus.
Okay.
I've never heard of this.
Hence why it's one of the first.
A lot of people haven't. Did you believe that? So once I click the right stick,
Pop that coin in.
and start the game as if you were literally playing straight from the arcade.
And yeah, no, and if you keep and I'm gonna be honest, if you keep an eye out, yeah, the fact that this is what kind of adds to the authenticity and or the quote unquote immersion of this whole arcade thing is that, yeah, if you looked off to the left and right, like that entire environment that you saw is still being rendered. Yeah, you can even, oh my gosh.
But here's actually the best part. If you look at the rendering, it's literally so good. And this is on Switch, by the way. Like, it's so good. That cabinet definitely, like, it looks realistic. Like,
the glare of stuff is really nice.
No, not just the glare, but you can see, like, the matte black there has, like, grime on it. Like,
yeah, like
arcade
you can see the
cabinets.
grain or whatever of it, yeah. So that was Oh, by the way, yeah, so that was Vulgus. We had zero to talk about. It was basically a shoot 'em up game.
And here's a particular arcade title I actually remember having a few memories with via the PSP stuff. Pirate Ship Hikamaru, their second ever video game, which is more like along the lines of a Pac-Man centric puzzle.
It literally looks like Popeye's Pac-Man.
Essentially, yeah. Your entire goal: literally take a barrel, toss it at the pirates, and that's literally it.
Okay.
Literally, you're just beating the shit out of Blutos. Got it.
Well, this first stage was easy enough because the pirates were already stunned when you showed up. So now it's actually now that the tour is done, now it's Bomberman.
Actually, yeah, Bomberman is probably the more apt comparison. So yeah, alongside the regular old pirates, you also have the pirate captain, but who's more along he serves a purpose similar to that of Nyamko from Mappy, in that he'll always be around the stage, and even if you take him out, he'll just come right back. All you want to worry about are the little guys.
Gotcha.
Who, if you actually look at the official artwork for them, they have no hands. They're just barefoot.
Oh,
What?
So they just kind of walk around like Captain Caveman all day.
Pretty much, yeah.
Get him.
I mean, yeah, no, simple as this thing is, it's honestly pretty fun, and probably one of the better, like, really old-school Capcom stuff.
I find it interesting that... Oh, cool, anchor power-up.
Oh, that makes you invincible, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, you literally have the strength of an anchor. No lone pirate can stand the might of that.
Yeah.
I bet you somewhere, Larry Bundy will, like, find this and make a video about it. There is a ripoff or version of this game where the anchors is replaced with spinach.
Yeah.
So it's literally just Popeye.
Yeah,
no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, someone's had to have
just
done
a
it.
Popeye version of this game.
So someone's probably done it. I will say I do like the neat little idea of having the enemies be able to hide in the barrels you're using. You have to spook them out.
Dun 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 dun.
And yeah, beyond that, beyond that, this actually does remind me of that game you showed me, James, Three Wonders. I could see this gameplay being reflected in one of the games we tried for that.
Honestly, yeah, it does seem like it would be more fitting for that one puzzle-centric game that was part of that collection.
Oh boy.
He literally barrel rolled me.
Do
I
a
love how
barrel
he's
roll.
shouting
Oh.
at. I was say I love how he was shouting at you like, "Player one ready!"
Yeah, that's what I was
He was
doing
so-
earlier.
Oh,
Alright, on that note, we're not going to spend too much longer on this game, because it's pretty simple and to the point, though you will occasionally come across bonus levels. So, make of that what you will. Oh, and before we go any further, this is actually the game you start off with absolutely free. Like, this comes complete with, like, straight from the base thing.
Installation, yeah.
1942.
okay. And then I actually have one other thing I was going to ask we could try after this, at least to kind of depending on how far we want to go. Yeah, let's try that. What you're doing there, I was going to say, what are these challenges that the arcade stadium gives us?
Now, the score challenge is it's the best way I can sort of describe the score challenge is it literally is trying to mimic the way that actual arcades were like, where you were trying to just play the game with its base rules and go for a high score. That does get tallied up on the leaderboards if you score high enough.
Okay. Have you managed to ever get a high score up on the tally boards? Damn. Like, I'm assuming these
Not without cheating.
they're crazy. I imagine they're crazy high for like these old classic games.
Kind of, yeah.
Whoa. And I think they didn't the let me look up anything else I can about the arcade stadium. I know they like were touting about some like daily challenges and stuff even.
Oh, special challenges, yeah. That's actually something I can go into with the next game I'll be showing off.
Okay.
But for now, I'll just take it to the skies in this totally not World War II-centric air shooter.
Well, it is based in 1942. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Wasn't World War II in the 70s?
They'll never let you live that down.
I
Brian.
will never let you live that down.
Oh, here's something interesting, James, to change the subject. The theme song that can be heard on the title screen of this entire arcade collection called Teenage Blues is now available on streaming services. So
Really?
they actually made an original like lyrics and everything, an original song for this entire collection.
Interesting. I mean, that would explain why they highlighted so much in its reveal trailer.
But yeah, beyond that, like this, were we talking? We had to have been talking about the other day, like in one of our other commentaries, like we were musing about how there were so many other Capcom arcade like games that still were not ported onto anything, and then suddenly this thing gets announced at that Nintendo Direct.
Yeah. I mean, what funny timing, huh?
Hey, look at that! It's not. I mean, there's still some Capcom games that have slipped through the cracks that I maybe would have preferred as opposed to 5 versions of Street Fighter 2.
Yeah, no,
But-
that is honestly my one big problem with the arcade stadium currently is that there's a little too much what I call redundant content. Like, granted, it's great to have the likes of Ghosts and Goblins or like Commando, Forgotten Worlds, or Strider on the service, but then you got Final Fight, a game you can already find on the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle, and not only that, 3 separate versions of Street Fighter 2.
Back to back.
And then Battle Circuit, which
was also in the beat 'em up bundle we did.
I mean, would it have killed them to add the Darkstalkers games for, or I don't know, freaking Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo?
Yeah, that
Honestly,
one.
well, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Street Fighter 2 is kind of like the most well-selling of the Street Fighters, and I'm still convinced that the only reason they're holding off on Darkstalkers is, as unlikely as it is, but you never know given how happy they've been with these collections lately, they're probably holding off on Darkstalkers to give it its own dedicated collection.
I mean, that'd be great. It's just, I mean, great. Didn't they already do that? Try to do that with Resurrection?
They did, and who's to say they can't do it again? I mean, you were just talking about how many times they re-released those versions of Street Fighter 2.
Fair.
And
So,
to be fair,
what is
back
this-
then they re-released so many versions of Street Fighter 2.
Yeah. So what is the special challenge?
So the special challenge is actually something that Capcom themselves will get to apply to certain games at random
Oh,
intervals.
jeez.
That Basically, you're basically put on a personal challenge. Basically, like for example, you're stuck on high speed at all times.
Okay, so that's what it is. Like, for a minute, I thought you were just purposely holding down the speed key.
Oh,
that
no, yeah.
opening sequence was just like, Oh, okay.
Because there is an option in there is actually a lot of nice accessibility and quality of life things. You can slow the game down. There is a rewind feature. There is I want to say isn't there like a feature to watch the game be played and
no
then
time to flaunt what you got, Arthur.
and then jump in at any time, a la the Afternoon Collection.
See, that's what you get for being cheeky.
Okay. Well, that said, that's pretty much the special challenge. Again, a challenge run that's made on the very rare occasion. Well, let's just play the game naturally.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
I do-
Oh, wait, I meant to.
I do like the idea of the special challenge. It reminds me of God. You know what they should bring back for the Switch, or at least port up to the Switch?
What's up?
Goddamn NES Remix.
That would be great.
Like, give us Remix 1+2 like the 3DS did.
I mean, those are great, and heck, they should. I think we're due for a sequel with the Super Nintendo stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they're bringing back Miitomo of all devil damn things.
Miitopia. But
Whatever.
also Miitomo. I would play it. I would not mind
I
another
would
Miitomo.
love Tomodachi Life. Come on.
That was another good
Whoop,
one.
hold on.
There we go. See, all sorts of accessibility options.
Yep, especially for hard as nuts games like Ghosts and Goblins.
And,
Which, by the way, up until the release of Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection, which is actually coming out like at midnight, I think midnight tonight as this recording,
Oh, jeez,
you can
that's
actually
soon.
get this game for free. However,
okay.
afterwards, it's going to be it's unfortunately going to be one of those games you're going to have to get. You're going to have to buy individually. Oh, what luck!
Nice.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean that's fair. And again, they're going for a sort of arcadey feel. And how much is now? Can you buy games individually, or do you have to buy them as part of bundles?
You have the option to do both. Although
Okay.
trying to buy the games individually is one of those things that you kind of have to go deeper into the Nintendo's eShop settings to really figure out. Because there is a store feature put in this game, but the only game I found on there was what was it? Straight up Ghosts and Goblins.
Gotcha.
Honestly, what I think they should have done is something not dissimilar to what Rare Replay did, in that technically you only have maybe one or two games on
Ow.
there, but the rest of them are just free keys to get the rest of the games.
Okay, I think that's enough of that.
It's okay. Let's try one more. Let's try another game. Let's try at least one more. But continue hype.
Well, no, I already said my point.
Oh, okay.
I'm down for doing at least a couple more. Like
Bionic Commando.
tempting, but it's a little jank for my taste. So let's try.
Never mind.
Did you ever try the remake of Bionic Commando?
Oh yeah, no, like the NES stuff is still pretty good. But the arcade original, screw that noise.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even mean I didn't even mean the
No.
the NES
So-
stuff. There was a go ahead, Jay, Matt. Bleh.
What, we all have very white names.
find
Yes.
Logan. But no,
Continue.
there were two.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, behold as I tilt this guy with the right stick.
Oh my gosh, it's a twin stick shooter.
There were two games, like remakes and all that. One that is a complete reboot of the franchise that's fucking terrible. I don't know why they continuously reference it.
What do you mean, Elite Forces?
Especially Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah, I don't know why Capcom continuously references that version of the series, because it's fucking terrible. But there is that one Unity Engine remake of the first of the NES game that I just thought, damn, that was really good.
I think the only reason they refer to the reboot, at least in terms
hello.
of Spencer's aesthetic, is because they just think that his design and that's better than the one in the original.
Yeah,
So-
I agree to disagree, I guess, because
And
I think the new design from the reboot fucking it's yeah.
That's why
Yeah, I
we're never
didn't say
that's
it was
why
a
we're
good
gonna
reason.
end.
I didn't say it was a good reason. I just said it was a reason.
So yes, that is why we are never going to do anything for Rearmed.
I wouldn't mind doing something for Rearmed at some point or another because it is a legitimately good remake.
Yeah, I'm mainly talking about Rearmed was a good one, and then there's that reboot.
The reboot that's just called Bionic Commando, which
Oh,
ironically
right.
enough was made by the same developers.
Yeah, and they really fucked up. I don't know. Okay, the gameplay is good. It's actually legitimately fun. It's the fucking story, and oh, your wife got turned into a fucking robot arm.
You know,
So they gave us the tragic backstory of the Bionic Commando's arm is his wife.
Yes, that's
I'll just go and do
That
just for the
was
heck of it,
in
since
the
we're talking about it,
reboot.
so let's all go and show it off.
Yeah, why not? Let's see the original. While we now switch
Sorry,
to
Forgotten Wars
podcast
fans.
talk.
It is a legitimately good game, just weird.
Look at him go.
So, from the arcade original game, you were playing as Super Joe, who would more or less serve like a supporting role in later games, and was surprised. Weirdly enough, a bad guy in the reboot. Also, another reason why it sucked.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's kind of like
He's the guy that turned Brad Spencer's wife into an arm, I think.
It's
I thought
odd.
his name
It's
was Nathan
strange.
Spencer.
So,
Nathan Rad Spencer, like that's his full name.
do you happen to, on the Arcade Stadium Collection Bonanza Jamboree, on the Arcade Jamboree, James, do you happen to have a arcade game that is, do you happen to have an arcade game that is your favorite of the bunch?
Oh, naturally, Ghouls and Ghosts.
Oh, the
Which we
Grand
just
Return.
played.
Well, no, we played Ghosts and Goblins.
Oh, okay.
This is the sequel that takes place 3 years later, after Sir Arthur saved the princess from the evil clutches of hell.
So I guess I should ask, what were the big? Okay, so I know we already looked at the SNES version of this that we saw.
Oh yeah, no, Super Ghouls Ghosts. That's actually the third. That's actually a sequel all in and of itself.
Oh, okay. I was about to ask if there's anything different between that and this, but okay, fair enough.
it's kind of like how Metal Gear Solid, the NES version, has a sequel, but it is absolutely nothing like the actual Metal Gear 2, and why it was a like just its own thing.
Wahaha.
Damn you, Lucifer!
So wait, so in this story, Prin dies?
Yeah, everyone but Arthur died.
Oh crap.
They got their souls taken away by the evil Lucifer, or for the sake of the U.S. localization, they renamed him to Loki.
Oh, but no relation to Astaroth.
No, actually, Astaroth is in this game, in like one of the second to last level in the game as a higher mook serving Lucifer.
Oh,
Just
jeez.
like-
Okay.
Oh, so this is what my life's reduced to, eh?
Yeah, unfortunately, he couldn't quite stop Arthur himself, so he got demoted
slow
to
down.
big boss status.
Nice, but I will say though, from I can definitely see this being one of the flashy ones, and
Oops.
now I'm
Oh boy.
No,
That didn't happen.
so says
so.
Arthur, the bender of time and space.
okay. So how about you?
Astaroth, I've come to bargain.
So for hype,
Something I still wanted to do a redo of that one Ghosts and Goblins inspired version of the Incredible Machine.
oh yeah, I
I'll
do.
say
I'll
that.
look into that. I'll see if I can pull it up, and then I could try that out and show it off after I did Contraption Maker and stuff. Hype and Matt, what do you got?
Oh,
What
It'd
do
be
you
a blistering storm.
do? You guys have any? Oh my gosh, yeah, that's like the windstorms I got going on outside my house right now. Matt and Hype, do you have any favorite games on this collection?
Well, I've never.
No, okay, don't
played
stop. I was the
anything.
dummy.
Oh, a duck.
He looks like Francis Von Drake.
I have
Okay, or
not.
Ludwig. Thank you.
I have not played the collection yet. So not exactly. I'm not the biggest fan of Capcom.
Oh.
Like, aside from the Street Fighter games, obviously, like, Capcom arcade games are not my favorite. I more prefer Capcom console games.
That's
fair.
fair. What about you?
oh boy.
What about you, Hype? Before we end off.
Well, I mentioned before, like, I haven't played this either. Like, I definitely have respect for a lot of the stuff on here, like the Ghost and Goblin stuff and pretty much all the other ones. I've just never played any of them myself. And actually, since I saw it peeking out there in the corner, did we ever decide if we wanted to do something for the Final Fight series?
Oh, we already did. We already did the first one for the Beat 'em Up bundle a while back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Like, what about the sequels?
The sequels, honestly, I wouldn't mind doing them, assuming they ever get put on the Super NES app.
Yeah, that would help.
I mean, honestly, I feel like we're due for that eventually.
I would be appreciated. And yeah, as far as my own like exposure to arcade titles, I still love the casualness. Let's try like, no, not talking to you. I'm busy.
Nope.
It's like, it's basically
Excuse
like,
me.
hey, can we make a nonchalant version of
Nope.
Ryu from? Can we make a nonchalant version of Ryu from
Ninja Gaiden?
Ninja Gaiden? Actually, no.
And the guy's like,
hey,
sure,
can
whatever.
we-
And he's like, cool.
Can we make
Ow.
Can we make Ryu from Ninja Gaiden do the Belmont strut?
I just love just how casual he is. Where he'll just be like
Yeah, just
walking
not that,
uphill,
like-
and he's like, no.
I also just like the expression on his face where he's just like, Fine, I guess I'll go through this. Oh, pardon me, gentlemen.
Ooh. And oh, that's right. I still need to probably do
Hello.
something for the
Jesus
Wow.
Christ!
Topping the wall.
Did he just suplex you into a wall
Yes,
so
he
hard that you
did!
exploded on contact?
That is... Oh, boy.
Okay,
Oh,
there you
don't
go.
worry, we exploded him in return.
But I was like, no, like he definitely suplexed you so hard you exploded like
onto
atomized.
the wall, yeah.
That just feels like such a manime thing.
It
Yeah,
is, huh? I mean, honestly, it's funny you say that too, considering that the Strider brand as a whole it's a video game that's actually based on a manga that Capcom owned.
Oh, really?
I
I
still
think
need
they
to.
still do technically.
I still okay. I need to add that to my to-do list. I still need to do like a commentary, something of the Strider like Metroidvania remake.
Oh yeah, the reboot. I wouldn't mind having us do that at some point or another.
That game is a lot of fun.
Oh, I will put it on the to-do list. As soon as
I'm
we
glad
can.
Why?
that
Okay.
that's the...
Logan, what is with your... Like, you are
I'm reacting
always-
to the crap going on the screen. Look
Yeah,
at
but
it all.
you're always somehow more worried than the actual person playing the game.
I'm not worried. I was more reacting to like, oh my gosh, my eyes is all that.
Hello,
flickering.
gentlemen.
Lord.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
Ow,
Oh no, they're doing that. Holy crap! It's like that one
Ow.
freaking.
Oh.
What was that movie I saw? It was like it's some Indian Matrix movie where these guys all formed up to become like a. It was like all the Agent Smiths created like a snake thing.
the human
It's very
centipede.
weird looking. It's not that.
I'm sorry. God, that's a terrible reference.
I know.
And again, I'll definitely give this game this much. For 1989, it was actually rather bold of them to have all the voice acting done in multiple languages, depending on, where they come from.
Bye, doggy. Bye, doggy. Bye, doggy. Bye, doggy.
They really should have.
Bye,
Are
doggy.
they gonna learn? Well, thank you all for joining us for the Capcom. I thought you were just gonna keep that going the whole time.
No,
This was like-
I think I'll go. I'll do at least one or two more games before we call it.
Okay,
call it a
sorry.
wrap.
I
Actually,
apologize. I'm not like.
Why don't we actually start? Why don't we start going a little further ahead from the 90s
Oh, why not?
to somewhere closer to the mid 90s?
Yeah, go for it.
Cyberbots.
I apologize. I'm not trying to rush this thing along. I was just like, it's just there's so many like good moments of like, well, thank you for no, outside. But in terms of my own experience with Capcom Arcade Classics, I never really played like all the arcades I went to didn't really have too many of these. Like they usually have Namco or Konami ones. I didn't go to many with Capcom games in them.
The most as far as the arcade places I usually visited, they didn't have too many Capcom related stuff either, aside from like Street Fighter or Marvel vs. Capcom.
The 40, the Blodia.
Let's go with Blodia.
Okay.
By the way, you may recognize this guy if you actually have played the Marvel vs. Capcom games, or at least the first two anyway.
Yeah, I was about to say he was in 1 and 2, and I remember one of his hyper combos was the fist of his robot coming out of nowhere.
So, I mean, I will definitely say it's nice of them to finally put this game on, modern collections after so long.
Yeah.
Let's fight. Wait a minute.
So let's see what we got.
Not going to lie, Jin is the most Gundam-looking main character I have ever seen.
Oh, absolutely. There's
Yeah.
probably some inspiration to it, but yeah, look at him go. But again, also, taking a step back to look at all this, especially now that the lighting has changed as it's now getting further into the nighttime or something, like, yeah, the fact that the RE engine is handling all this pretty smooth like butter is really impressive for me to, like, impressive in the sense of, like, it came out of nowhere for me.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not perfect, but I will definitely say, like, it was definitely. I mean, you don't get an aesthetic like this too terribly often with collections.
The only other one I can think of that reminded me of this was the Sega Master Collection or whatever that had it set in like inside like a gaming living room.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive classics. Mm-hmm. Honestly, it's a game I want to like. It's a collection I would love to like more if it weren't for how piss poor the freaking what's the word latency is with button presses.
That's fair. They might need to patch that up eventually.
So they ever do. Like the collection's been around for a while now.
I guess shifting onto nice. I guess shifting onto a topic like that. I guess Matt, do you happen to have any classic arcade collections that you like?
Sega ones. Particularly the one in the Yakuza games.
Oh yeah, the arcade.
Actually, now that I stop and think about it, one particular game I would have loved to have seen in this collection, but, still MIA currently. Have you guys ever heard of a game called Red Earth?
Red Earth.
The name does sound familiar. That's the one with the lion barbarian, right?
Yes. And the witch, Tessa.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah.
Alright, so before we do end off proper, let's show off the very last chronological game in this collection, Pro Gear.
Okay.
And yes, if it's not immediately obvious, there are a lot of shooters in this collection.
I mean, those were
That's
one
what
of the easiest arcade
Capcom
things to make.
specialized in. Let's be fair. That and fighting games.
Now, did Capcom announce or have any plans to like sell like quote unquote expansions or other games for this collection in the future?
They haven't outright said, but considering this is technically a free service, I feel that you could, get like download multiple sorts of like packs into. I feel like they'd have free reign to do so whenever they felt like.
I could see it working. Like maybe this is going to be the start of people like trying to not make competitors, but basically like if the SNES and NES online services are already a thing, maybe try to find a way to give like that same make their own virtual consoles.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of how I see it. Just again, I feel like they would be really missing out big time if they didn't like make the most out of this app-based service and put more games on it. Again, give us Darkstalkers or War or Red Earth or heck, maybe put in the Mega Man games. The arcade-centric Mega Man games, I should stress.
And I will still say that, like...
I mean, heck, why stop there? Maybe get some licensing deals and put Alien vs. Predator on here.
Grab all that
or
stuff.
Or Punisher. Or Marvel vs. Capcom. Okay, now I'm starting to talk silly.
Actually, no, I
Whoa.
want Marvel vs. Capcom 2 to be re-released.
Oh. Just in general, like... just making the most of this, because, like... It's still something I have to look at it from two different angles, that the Nintendo Switch is a pretty, decent, definitely I would say above average gaming console, but
Ow.
I would argue that
By the way, I love
easily...
this little detail. If you raise up high up in the screen, the UI literally just gets shoved up.
Oh yes, to make room for those lovely hitbox, like, narrow of what... Wow, I didn't realize how bullet hell this was going to be.
Honestly,
oh yeah, no, this is very bullet hell.
Honestly, looking at this, I'm just like, I see. Excuse me as I get Metal Slug SNK on the phone.
Well, that and Gradius to an extent, but...
No, I'm talking about, like, the designs and the animation and all that. Tell me that tank didn't look 100%.
Tell me that thing in the background back there.
That thing, yeah, no, that 100% looks...
But I dig this, though. But I like the steampunk design of it. But anyway, I was going to say, like, I do think that the Nintendo Switch is probably the greatest... At least by design or by definition or whatever, I think the Switch is the greatest handheld portable gaming console ever.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that you could take this with you on a car ride or something.
It really stands a testament considering that currently Capcom Arcade Stadium is Switch exclusive.
Okay.
I mean, there's no telling that they'll probably not put it on the other services on the other consoles anytime soon. Heck, I think they're probably going to do that for the Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection at some point or another. And there he goes.
Oh, could I have lost me a child? And he's gone.
Who gave him that pilot's license anyway?
Oh, but she didn't like how well you did.
No, and unfortunately she's going to have to stay living because that's pretty much where we're going to be ending off our little look-see into the Capcom Arcade Stadium. And I do like if you actually do back out at least once. Here's a whole row of other games you could be trying out right now.
It is nice. I like that they have all their attract modes on and stuff.
But yeah, that's it for our look at. And again, for those that are curious to try this out, the app itself is currently free, and all the games that are on here, aside from 1942, you can get them at again, I forget how much they cost individually, but if you want the whole thing at large, hopefully you're willing to spend at least $40 on it.
For all the collections and all the cheats and accessibilities and quality of life improvements, I think it's decent. I'm curious to see what they do, if they're going to do anything else with this service.
Here's hoping. But until next time, guys, I've been Jathan Extreme.
I've been nostalgic again.
I've been here.
And it's past closing time. Get out of my arcade!
Run!